do anything you want to. You can stand on your head or walk on your hands. Going down the path there, and going down the path now, after you get so far down there, I'll cut it off. All right. Yeah, whatever it is. Where you can get a good view out over the mountain there, or the valley. We can do all right. We'll do all right.
You see enough through the trees there?
Well, the trees will probably interfere with the focus. We're in Custer State Park, Custer National Park.
Near Ashland, Montana. Very expensive campground. It's costing us $2 for the night. Because we're their favorite people, senior citizens.
I don't know if that can be heard from that distance or not. This is about 30 or 40 yards from where our trailer's set up. I'm going to try to get a picture of the biggest dandelion I ever saw. I don't know if these are dandelions or not. We've been seeing the seeds blow all over the place ever since we got into the Dakotas, and maybe even before. I haven't seen a flower, but you see the seeds. Trying to take this picture. It's just starting to sprinkle, and I'm afraid the rain might bother or ruin the camera, and I don't want that to happen. I'm looking right now for the bulb that's in there. There it is. Couldn't find that rascal.
Soldiers killed in the Battle of the Little Bighorn, June 25th and 26th, 1876. At this site, hundreds of Sioux and Cheyenne warriors defeated 5 cavalry companies, about 220 soldiers, under the command of Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer. As you look over the battlefield, you can see the white markers showing where the bodies of soldiers were found after the fight. No markers show where the warriors fell because very little is known of their casualties. Probably less than 100 were killed, and the dead were removed by their families immediately after the battle. Only the Sioux and Cheyenne words tell us what happened to the 200 soldiers killed in the fight. Some Indian accounts say that Custer and his men may have tried to cross the river 1.5 miles to your left. Angered warriors, led by Gall, raced across the river and forced the troops back to the ridges. Having lost the initiative, the soldiers found themselves in rough terrain, unsuitable for mounted action. The companies seem to have made individual stands, fighting on foot against the waves of Indians that rolled in from every direction. The warriors did not need to expose themselves to the troopers' fire. Dismounted, they moved from sagebrush to sagebrush and took advantage of the numerous ravines. Finally, Crazy Horse, crossing farther downstream below the present visitor center, swept around this ridge with a large force to cut off further retreat. Here, about 50 soldiers gathered around Custer, shot their horses for breastworks, and fought to the end. The battle lasted 2 hours at most. 5 miles away, the rest of Custer's regiment remained under siege. On the morning of June 27th, after the Sioux and Cheyenne had departed, General Terry's column arrived and hastily buried the soldiers where they had fallen. To complete the story of the Battle of the Little Bighorn, we invite you to travel the road to the Reno-Benteen defense site, 5 miles away.
herded Indians around to the other side of the monument and wiped out the men and the horses that were being held there. Sweep going around and up the hill to the cemetery plot and the monument. That was the back of that monument. I couldn't find it for a minute. It's the back of that monument where Crazy Horse ended up, killing all those soldiers who went down in that area with a horse hole.
And Cheyenne were camped in the valley below these bluffs. From the Wolf Mountains, the distant range of hills to the east, the 7th Cavalry approached. Custer's original plan had been to camp as near as possible to the village and attack at dawn on the 26th. Custer's main concern was that the Indians would elude the army. Expecting no more than 800 warriors, Custer formed the regiment into 3 battalions. Captain Fred Benteen and 3 companies rode south along the base of the Wolf Mountains to head off any possible retreat by the tribesmen. The rest of the regiment proceeded toward the valley. Nearing the Little Bighorn River, Custer ordered Major Marcus Reno and his 3 companies, 113 men, to attack the fleeing warriors seen by his scouts. Custer and 5 companies continued along this side of the river. Reno crossed the river and came down the valley to your right. As he advanced, hundreds of Sioux and Cheyenne warriors came out to defend their village. In the face of overwhelming numbers, Reno suddenly halted his command. Reno fell back into the timber bordering the river, then led his men in a pell-mell retreat across the river to the bluffs where you are now. Reno's demoralized and badly battered command was joined here by Captain Benteen's force and the pack train. Benteen showed Reno a hastily scrawled message he had received from Custer, which read, "Benteen, come on, big village, be quick, bring packs." With his command now strengthened, Reno attempted to move in the direction of Custer's advance when they heard the sounds of gunfire. Getting only as far as the high ground, now called Weir Point, they were driven back. Under continual siege, Reno and his men entrenched themselves. Sioux and Cheyenne riflemen occupied the surrounding ridges until the evening of June 26th. That afternoon and evening, the Indians left the valley, making their way in an immense procession toward the Bighorn Mountains, which rise above the valley floor to the west. The next morning, June 27th, Reno and Benteen watched anxiously as a column of dust rose from the valley. Their weary expressions gave way to utter relief when the dust cloud revealed that soldiers of General Alfred Terry's command were approaching. For the Indians, the Battle of the Little Bighorn climaxed their greatest triumph in their 400 200-year struggle to resist the encroachment of European civilization upon their culture. But their victory was brief. Within a year, most of the Sioux and Cheyenne faced the reality.
This is the ravine that Crazy Horse came up through. Circled around from the other side, as I mentioned before. And fought in battle with horse holders. Campsite in Big Timber, Montana. We're going into Yellowstone today. Standing on a bridge across a little creek here. I don't know the name. Fish jumping all around here. There's a bigger river. We're camped between this and a big rapid flowing river. You may be able to pick up the sound of it. Changed my position about 20 feet. The sun was, couldn't swing around for the sun. This was such a pretty view. Sure would and hope that it comes out on film. Mark.
It said there's snow on the mountains up ahead of us there. I don't know if that's the ones we're going into or not.
This is taken from the campgrounds.
Spring Creek campground.
Spring Creek campground. This would be a beautiful shot if it comes out, and somebody with a good camera could set up, and frame that mountain in
hot springs, West Thumb. These are the mud pots and hot springs in West Thumb.
These are very small. They look like miniature volcanoes. If I can come in on them close enough, you might be able to see the steam coming out of them. This is just a small stream, about 18 inches wide, running away from this boiling pot behind me. And all the way down to and into Lake Yellowstone. I'm getting a reflection off the sun. I hope it doesn't interfere with the picture, but I think you should be able, if you can hear me speak, you should be able to hear this thing boiling. I don't know if the sun will interfere here or not. I'm not getting too good at angles. But you might be able to see the steam from these boiling pots. Okay, I've walked another 100 yards to the other side of this area. I came to one point where my glasses steamed up, and I carried the camera to one side for fear the moisture might cause problems with it. I've come up on this constantly boiling I walked another 25 or 30 yards down, and I came on this. Certainly is a barren wasteland looking scene. And then I'll drop the camera down a little, and you can see grass and various green vegetation. Back up again. You can see where the trees have been killed off by the water. I guess the chemicals in the water and flooding it out and keeping the roots damp. You can see this looks fairly deep. I'm maybe another 50 yards away from where I took the last picture, and I also learned something along the way. I read a place card that said these trees that you see have been killed off by a shift in the flow of the water from these hot springs. Before they die, the roots suck up enough of the minerals in the water that it preserves the trees. roadside steamer. It's not far off the main road, and maybe the best we can see is a big cloud of steam. But I'm going to try something. There's a rainbow off in the distance. The sun's shining, it hasn't rained. But out through here is a rainbow. And I'm going to see if it'll come up on film. I can't see it through the viewfinder. As a matter of fact, you should hear a roar in the background. That's Hardy Rapids. Come down on it yourself. Very pretty. I still like the one in Big Timber. Take another quick shot here because I've learned that this is the Lee Hardy Rapids and the cutthroat trout. You can see them. I couldn't get a picture of them. They're all laying down there somewhere in the rapids, resting up for their next charge. They go up to the lake. What's it called? Dragon's what?
The Dragon's Mount.
Dragon's
The mud volcano. It's temperature 189.5 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't remember what else it said. Here's sulfuric gases.
doing like it anymore now.
It's the same as it
Sure
always
does
did.
stink. What's the name of it?
Sulfur pits, I think it was. Oh, they must be.
Hmm? I don't know how far it is down there, but you can see the bottom of it. You can see the riverbed. those over here to the right are smaller.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, there's lots. I was going to say, I told them up there. They're higher up than we are. Go.
something there? Don't hit the cam. Don't hit the camera.
That didn't do very good. You see?
Huh? What?
You even see it?
I don't know if I did or not. Well, snow in June,
We're up 9,000.
so we're almost at 9,000 feet. But I don't think that's so spectacular. I've seen it in Pennsylvania in June in little patches. That's too close getting out there.
Why somebody doesn't come over here and
Okay.
no.
do? Hello. We need a quick way to get back now.
My husband said, should we go straight up? And I said, well, it might be easier.
We could find a way to launch it. We've seen the falls from the bottom, the tower falls, that is. It's the greatest descent I've made on foot so far. I'm certainly glad Mark didn't even attempt it. We're looking at the point where the falls joins Yellowstone. If I don't run out of battery, I'll show you the falls from 300 feet from the... We'll take another look at the Yellowstone as it comes down to join into the water from Tower Falls. I'm on the way back up the trail. Well, see Margaret patiently waiting and wondering. Down on Yellowstone, just past where the Tower Falls water converges. I see steps down. I don't know how far down they go, but I don't think I'm going down on this one. Do, we may not get home to dark. is a petrified tree. Name of this falls, Mark? What's the name of this falls?
Stop. Told you to put heavy out. Exactly. Well done. We're done, Amir. You just finished Mammoth Hot Springs. Good night. Wipe it on me, don't. Yes, I do. Let me lay touch on you.
Oh, see that? I thought you meant that that white stuff was running now.
Okay, let's go back. Here, let's go back. Let's go back to the horses. Let's go back to the horses. Come on.
Let's see what's down there.
Okay, Mama needs your help.
How about I want to go down there?
Well, I think we're here. Cut down, back down.
Well, guys.
Mammoth Springs. All these shots are taken, including the building called Mammoth Springs. I just had to stop here and take a picture of Gardner Creek, or Gardner River. It flows up to the north end and down through the entrance, the northern entrance, somewhere along there, to the town called Gardner. But that's Gardiner. The lady in the store where we got gas said she thought the correct name for Gardner for the town should be the same as the name of the river, Gardiner. I don't know how many places I've seen this river, a number of places. You're looking at, I just cut some elk sign here. About a half mile down the road. where I stopped to take a picture of Gardner River, and here I'm getting Gardner River and a herd of moose. I don't know what's got his interest over there. Got them all moving. Didn't start them all off. Part of them are still not interested. We stopped in Shoshone National Forest. For a little break, we're on our way to Cody, Wyoming. The area where we stopped, like any place else you can stop, is fascinating. Everything is different around the next turn. It's like entering a different world from the one you just left. The spot where we stopped, they have a memorial to the firefighters that died in a fire that destroyed over 1,500 acres in 1937. 15 firefighters were trapped in various places and killed. Wapiti Ranger Station. First authorized by the U.S. government. Rangers themselves were paid $30 a month, supplied their own horses and whatever tools they needed, and built their own cabins.